Okay, I think we're live. This is kind of nerve-wracking. I'm by myself today. It's just me. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? We're doing something completely different in which we are going through how I pick my next cruise, usually. There are over 300 cruise ships throughout the world with countless destinations. And how do you just pick one? Today, I'm going to go through and share with you some tips and tricks on how I actually plan my next cruises. Hopefully it'll help the process be a little bit easier for you. To all of you watching playback, this is a live broadcast. We're actually live right now, so there's going to be a few mistakes, but I'm going to share everything I know, so that way I don't do a video where I skip something out. I'm going to try to hit every single thing that I know. Everything up here is going to be tried and shared in this stream. So it's going to be a little bit long. I apologize for that, but I am going to go back retroactively and add chapter titles for those of you watching playback to kind of navigate and make things a little bit easier. So in case if I kind of dangle on something a little bit too long, we can go ahead and move on with that. So yes, I don't think anyone is here, but if you are here, good morning. We actually already have 4 likes on the stream, which is actually kind of crazy because we had that before we even started. So to all of you who are watching on this stream, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to give a few moments to hopefully let some people join in. Hopefully we get some chatters in, because I want to actually go and kind of think through some of the process with those in chat. Maybe we could actually kind of pick a cruise by the end of this. You know, that'd be really fun, I think. Not something that I just came up with on my own, but something that everyone here in chat will be able to come up with, and we can call our cruise. So I do just want to give a quick disclaimer. I am actually a travel agent, but this is not a stream about why you should book with me or any of that nonsense. We're not here to talk about, oh, Steven's a travel agent, book through him. We're actually going to be talking about how I would book as just a regular person. There are different apps and applications that I use as a travel agent that we're not going to talk about today. We're going to just go from, if you were starting from fresh, you didn't have any cruise accounts, you didn't have any access to travel agents, and you're just doing it on your own. Now, that's not to say that I don't think booking through a travel agent is the best idea, but it is going to be just a fun way to go through it, because maybe, I don't know what I was talking about. I just read chat. Good morning, Brian. I don't know why you said good afternoon. Not really sure, but I'm glad you're ready. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I am a travel agent. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't book with a travel agent. Doesn't have to necessarily be me. Could be any travel agent you're choosing, someone that you trust and believe in with all your heart. I recommend going with them. But yeah, we're just gonna do it as if we weren't using a travel agent. We're just gonna do it live is what we're doing. We're doing it live right now. Which is kind of nerve-wracking because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think I know enough to be able to get through this without having any issues, hopefully. This one's going to be a fun one. Whew. Yeah. So typically, Jalen is usually with me on the streams, but she's a little busy today. She's got work and stuff, apparently, and so I guess it's just me, and since I'm usually the one that does the travel agent work, and I'm usually the one that plans all our cruises, kind of makes sense for it to just be me in a way. Hopefully audio sounds okay. We're playing background music for the first time ever as well. Hopefully it doesn't distract you too much, but it's literally just all the songs that we use in all of our videos and all of our vlogs. So that's also something very different. Yeah, I'm seriously just trying to kill time. Hopefully a few others roll in. There are 10 of you here right now. Good morning to all 10 of you. When's your next cruise? What do you guys have planned? Give me some ideas to maybe what we could pick on this stream. Because seriously, we're going to pick a video. Or we're going to pick video. We're going to pick a cruise today. Whether I book it or not, we're not really sure. But we're going to call it our own plan today. Lord, thank you for letting me know that I sound good. Perfect. I am kind of ready to jump into it if you guys are. Celebrity Summit on December 7th. Awesome. That's pretty cool. Oh, also I could show chat here. That's phenomenal. Celebrity Summit was our first and only Celebrity Cruise, but I think you have a lot to look forward to. Celebrity's a great brand, and that's kind of fun to look forward to. It's so close. Maybe just 2 months away, less than. What is that, 44 days, 43 days away? Quick math, that's probably so wrong, but let's just go with it. Christina, MSC Seaside, October 29th. That's in like 3 days. What are you doing here? You already have your cruise planned. You're ready to go. Thank you for joining. Good morning. I have not been on the MSC Seaside, but I did go on the MSC Divina, which was a lot of fun. But I've heard the Seaside is much better than what we experienced on the Divina, but I loved the Divina for what we had. A few exciting cruises to go on forward. Let's see. Couple of the Seas. Good morning. How you doing? Good to see ya. I'm excited to see your Carnival Radiance cruise, 'cause I know that's what's coming up for you guys. Oh man, that's an exciting cruise. I've been on that twice. Too many times to count. But I think you're looking forward. I think you should be looking forward to that one. I think that you should have used the John Heald thing, by the way. In case if you haven't, check out Couple of the Seas. They were on Carnival Miracle with us. Not with us, but they're on at the same time. They did a whole vlog series, which their story is completely different than ours. They had some wacky problems going on their boarding day with their room key. You have to check out their video to kind of get a good idea of what happened, because I can't explain it. But essentially, John Heald, the brand manager of Carnival, responded to them and said that they're going to have a gift the next time they go on a cruise. That was really, really cool to hear, but I think you should have used that one on the inaugural for the Firenze, which he would be on board, so you could have called him out, or you could have been like, thank you so much for being such an awesome person. Whichever one kind of happens, but missed out on that one. But either way, Radiance will be fun. Hopefully John Heald takes care of you. Brian, you're going on the Quantum repositioning from Hawaii to Vancouver. Wait, from April 19th. Yeah, okay. You're going on the repositioning. That is awesome. I love that ship, by the way. But to go from Hawaii to Vancouver, just stay on for an extra week and go to Alaska. Actually, you can't do that. That wouldn't be allowed. But we could pretend. But yes, that is cool. I'm really jealous. I would love to go to Hawaii on a cruise. Never done that. Good morning, Tim. How you doing today? Couple of Seas may or may not have booked another cruise for a certain inaugural. Well, if you are on that certain inaugural that I'm thinking about, I might see you on board, and we should actually hang out and chat. It'd be really fun. I'm jealous of your guys' cruises. I kind of want to do some of them. I would love to go back on the Celebrity Summit. I would love to go to Hawaii. That would be cool. And I'd love to do the MSC Seaside. That'd be an interesting one. And also Carnival Radiance kind of cheated. He didn't even tell me that. I just know that one. Check out Couple of Seas. Anyways, I'm going to share my stuff that I have going on. I think I can do it. Actually, I'm not even sure if I have it live right now. But we're going to go to my website, Good Morning Adventure, where we keep track of all of our future cruises that we have going on. Navigator of the Seas is our next one happening. Do the Sun Princess? I would love to do the Sun Princess. We haven't had any exact plans for it. It's something that we're trying to work out, maybe when it comes to the Caribbean. But we're not certain. Our plans for, I think, September is when it finally comes, is kind of a little iffy right now. We're not sure. Thinking about doing something in Texas, but the Sun Princess is also definitely on our list. But flights, we're in California. Flights are expensive to anywhere else, so that may not be a great option. But yes, I think, yeah, we did switch. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if it actually swapped, but here we have all of our next cruises anyways. We're going to be in this mode for quite a while. We're going to try this. Don't normally share a screen. Don't normally go through the process of booking cruises, but we're going to do it today. We're going to try to find something and plan it. I'm not sure what we're going to actually go with, but I'm going to share some tips and tricks on how I actually book my cruises. So, this stuff doesn't matter. What we have planned doesn't really matter. What really matters is what we're going to do next, which we may or may not book, like I said earlier. But how do I normally pick my cruises? I guess the first question is going to be destination versus ship. Obviously, if you have a ship in mind, that kind of leads to where you're going to go. If you have a destination in mind, that leads to what ship you're going to do. So that's just kind of the starter. So if you want to go somewhere specific, only certain ships go to certain places. Like, say, for example, if you want to go to Alaska, there's only so many ships. You're not doing Oasis class over in Alaska. It's just not possible. It's a destination that's definitely worth doing, but it's not going to happen because you're not going to be able to get a big ship in a place like that. Say if you want to do Oasis class, then of course vice versa. You're not going to be able to go to Alaska. You're probably going to go to the Caribbean, and you're going to dodge a lot of the smaller ports that you would probably want to go to in the Caribbean. So you're going to go through a lot of the main street ports, and it's just going to be really crowded in some of those places. But you're doing Oasis class, right? So that's just kind of an example. You kind of have an idea of where you want to go or what you want to do. And it's all kind of based on your preference. I usually pick my cruises based on destination, and then I kind of let the rest fall in. But I'm kind of a different species in a way that I like to go on so many different cruise lines. We don't really pick one cruise line. Like, I love Royal Caribbean, believe me. As you can tell, we have a few Royal Caribbean cruises planned, like almost every other, actually more than every other, we're doing Royal Caribbean. So obviously there's a bias, but we're quite open to going on different cruises. As you can see, we have Princess, we have Carnival, and we have the Disney Cruise line as well, which is a good variety of things. Not as crazy as we did back in last January. We went on MSC, Celebrity, and Disney, and Royal, all in like one string of things. But I'll kind of talk through the process and how I actually kind of planned that. And yes, we already have 2025 booked, and that's because it was like an inaugural thing for the Disney Treasure. The inaugural was Christmas. We skipped on Christmas. We skipped on New Year's, and then there's a DVC thing, and then thus the first non-holiday public cruise is that Disney Treasure one in 2025. But we don't normally plan that far in advance. June is what normally we plan as far. So that's what, 7 months maybe. But usually it's better to book as far out in advance. But anyways, let's not talk about my bad habits. Let's talk about how would we even go about finding just different cruises. Now, you could go to each individual cruise website, but that sounds like a lot of work. So my secret tip that I use is actually going to be cruisecritic.com. Now, Cruise Critic is actually more of a forum, usually to find forums on different topics throughout the cruising industry, but they do have a really cool thing where they actually have a search engine, which makes things super easy. Like, usually you'd go to Google Flights is how I book my flights, and there's not really that for cruising, except for we have Cruise Critic here, which will give us a good idea of what's out there. Now, if you had an idea you're just going to go on Royal Caribbean, just go to RoyalCaribbean.com. You don't need to use this. Royal Caribbean will keep track of all of their cruises that they have offered all the way from here until whenever. Same thing with Carnival, same thing with Disney, same thing with all the cruise lines. But if you are one of those people who does not quite know what cruise line they want to go to, but they know they want to go to a specific place, this is the website I use all the time. And the search filters are the best thing for me, at least. That's the reason why I love this website, is the filters. So let's just pick a destination. For now, we're going to go to Mexico because that's where I'm based out of the Mexican Riviera specifically. We're based out of California, and we're just going to look for, let's say, August the 24th, and we're just going to go find cruises. That's actually probably a bad time. I just thought about that because there's only 3 ships in Los Angeles at that time, maybe 4. And it'll show you Royal Caribbean, it'll show you Carnival, and yeah, that's it. And whoa, I'm not sure why these are here, but kind of a good reference. Let's try something a little bit better instead of, Mexico in the summer season, which all the cruises that would be here would have been up in Alaska. That is kind of my bad example. First real example. Let's look at the Caribbean. We could sort by so many different things. The thing I also like about this as well is that it shows us the itinerary. Cruise Critic has reviews on just about every cruise ship out there. So if you want to get an idea of what the ship's like, this one doesn't actually have a review. Oh yeah, there it is. Reviews. has a review, gives you an idea, 3.7 rating, which I actually haven't looked at before, and it keeps track of prices, kind of tracks through how the history's been, what's the lowest been, what's the highest been, kind of where it's been sitting at, which is awesome, right? You can select that for any of the different cabins as well. So that's just some of the cool things that Cruise Critic has access to. And of course, if you've ever booked through me, you've probably seen this map. I love these maps, and I'm sure there are better websites, but I like the maps that Cruise Critic has. I don't know why. They just kind of look appealing to me, so that's why I use them. But of course, it shows you everything, right? So we have Valiant Lady is just one example. We can go down through Norwegian Sky, Celebrity Beyond, Norwegian Jade. It gives us prices as well, whether it be through the direct cruise line or through some other agencies, which is cool that they show agencies in which it shows you the best price to get if you book through another agency. I don't know them very well. I don't necessarily trust them. I usually just book through, I would recommend booking directly through the website. I can't say I recommend any of the like American Discount or anything. I don't know anything about them. Just for if anyone's asking, I don't know anything about them. So, yeah. So it's kind of how I would get a good idea of what I would want to do, just what's out there, right? I don't know. Say, for example, we're looking at the Caribbean right now, but if we want to get even more specific, we can do that and say, I really want to go to Disney World and I really want to go out of Orlando. So we can select that port specifically. And then it's going to filter out all of the Orlando cruises. Makes it even more specific. Okay, actually, I think my destination that I really want to go to is I want to do the Caribbean, but Eastern Caribbean. That's what I want to do. So we're going to update the results. We're going to filter out all the Western Caribbeans, all the Southern Caribbeans. We're only going to look at Easterns. And, oh wow, that's really cool. It gives it to us, right? This is a Southern Caribbean cruise. Not sure why this one's still here, but it has its flaws. It's not perfect, but it still gives you a pretty wide idea of what's out there. Okay, this is just not. I think what it is CocoCay is considered Eastern, and that's why it's filtering in here. Might have to go even more specific than that, but it's just a good idea of what you can do. It has all these ports as well. So say if we really wanted to go, Netherlands is on there as well. That's weird. Anyways, this is kind of starting to look really bad, but it is just a good way to filter out different things. If you really want to go to specific destinations, you can select more specific, or you can select less specific. Shows you some other things you could do. Is you could filter out cruise lines in case if you do not want to go on Carnival, or if you do want to go on Carnival and Royal Caribbean, you want to just compare the two. That's a good way to do that as well. Just a bunch of different things. You can do length, cabin type, price. Oh yeah, update results right there. Or it's going to take a while. There you go. So now we're looking at just Royal Caribbean and Carnival. So that's kind of how I actually book my cruises. I legitimately go to this website, Cruise Critic. I'd look at what time of the year I want, and then I just start looking at what options are available to me from all the different cruise lines, because you could go through each cruise line, one cruise line at a time, but that would, I feel like, take a lot of time. So this is just a good way to speed up that process. You see something you like, go straight to the website, learn more about it, get some reviews on the cruise ship. 3.9, not bad, Adventure, good job. Value for money is 4 out of 5. Interesting. I'm just curious. Is 3.5 out of 5? Yeah, because Oasis class ships. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. Is there any questions? Am I kind of making sense on some of this stuff and what I'm talking about? I kind of hope. Let's see. Have I ever done the perfect day option? I have done a perfect day cruise. I did that aboard. What was it? I did that aboard Freedom of the Seas out of Miami. It was a 4-night cruise, and it went to Perfect Day and Nassau. And Perfect Day is an awesome private island. Love Perfect Day. At CocoCay. Probably is my favorite island, especially if you go to Thrill Water Park. Definitely worth going. It's almost not worth it to go on Royal Caribbean if you're not doing Perfect Day at CocoCay. Of course, if you're in the Caribbean. If you're in Alaska or if you're in somewhere else that it's not possible, then obviously Royal Caribbean is worth doing. But when you're in the Caribbean, you're going to want to do Perfect Day, at least in my opinion. Anyways, are you excited for the Disney Treasure? I am extremely excited for the Disney Treasure. Unfortunately, I'm not going on the inaugural, though. I do apologize. Also, good morning. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, we're not doing the inaugural. We're doing the 4th sailing on the Disney Treasure, which is, let me think, not Christmas, not New Year's, not the DVC, but the first public cruise out there from the Disney Treasure. And a few other vloggers are doing that as well. So that's why I was really excited to hop on that one. It was just something that I really want to do because I hadn't done the Wish. And the inaugural was just a little too expensive. But that's exciting that you get to go on the inaugural. Yeah. Is it going to be weird to spend Christmas out at sea? Like, do you have any repercussions about that? Because that one was kind of hard for me as well, to spend Christmas out on a cruise. I love cruising, but Christmas with family makes a little bit more sense. And none of my family would follow me if I went to go do that cruise. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that, because I don't know very many people that did book that. But I am super excited for the Treasure, especially since they just announced the Haunted Mansion. Love the Haunted Mansion. I hope that they play Haunted Mansion music because I could sing that all day. But it probably wouldn't be very good for the aesthetic, I think. Anyways, I think that's much more exciting than the Hyperspace Lounge, at least to me. Oh, well, you just cheated. All 9 of your family members are going. That's awesome. That is going to be a fun cruise then. Christmas on a brand new ship for an inaugural with Disney. I don't think you can go wrong. Other than that, it was a little expensive, in my opinion. But if the price doesn't matter to you and it's all about the experience, you're in it. You're in it to win it. That's exciting. I wish my family would all hop on a Christmas cruise. That would be really cool. But then we'd also have to try and convince Jalen's family to do a Christmas cruise. It's just so complicated. Don't know how we could make that happen. But anyways, hope that kind of made sense with what I talked about. Cruise Critic, pretty fun. I actually kind of want to go through, and if anyone has any suggestions on what cruises we want to go to look at, and if anyone has any destinations they want to talk about, I am more than excited to talk about that stuff. But we may not have any interest. I'm really not sure. This is a trial thing after all. Anyways, Couple of the Seas. We want to redo CocoCay at some point next year for sure, especially with the new adults area, though it's overpriced. Yeah, I agree with that. They did release the pricing for it. I haven't even really looked at it too much, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do it when I go on Icon, because we are going to Perfect Day on that ship, but Icon was already so expensive that I don't want to repay more to go to an exclusive area. So it's just kind of like we'll see if it happens. It'll probably sell out by the time I decide that I want to. If you can sell it on that, maybe Royal Caribbean will sell that till infinity, and it'll just be super packed, especially on the days with Oasis or Icon class ships. You should go on the Wish. We went on in June. It was pretty fun. I believe it. I've heard some positive and negative things about it, and I do want to try the Wish. There's a price in my head that I'm willing to pay for 3 and 4 nights, and the Wish never comes below that price. So that's why we haven't done the Wish yet. I'm probably gonna have to wait for the Wish to actually go to do something else other than 3 and 4. It's like how the Dream swapped over to Miami and did 5 nights. That's when I finally went over to the Dream, is when that happened, because the Dream was doing 3 and 4 forever, and I was like, I can't, especially since I'm in California. If I was in Florida, maybe it might be worth it, but who knows? That's for the future. Do 4 nights, though. I completely agree with that without even doing it. I would not want to do that ship with only 3 nights. That would be so sad. You'd be at Castaway, and then you have a day. That's it. At least you could skip Nassau, and then you also get a sea day when you do 4 nights. Are you planning on doing Adventure in 2025? We'll see. I'm not really too sure. I like the idea of doing Adventure, which not this Adventure, by the way. The other Adventure, the Disney Adventure. the Disney adventure. Looking at Adventure of the Seas right there. It's confusing me. I don't know. It might be possible. It just depends on the price, to be honest. It depends the price, the length, and how realistically feasible it is for us to achieve it. But debating doing Icon or 6 cruises. Oh my gosh. Yeah, actually. Yeah, I still think about it right now. Like, I constantly just have doubts. Like, do I really want to pay what we're paying for Icon? Like, $3,000? Like, that's actually a great price for Icon, by the way. For an Ocean View, we're doing an Ocean View guarantee. That's a great price. But $3,000 is a lot of money for just one cruise. Like, I could probably realistically get 4 cruises in that. And maybe that's what we're going to do. Also, getting a call. Forgot to silence my phone. My apologies for that. You live in Florida. Yep, that's easy cheat. To do the Wish would be at least $2,400-ish, $500 for 2 of us. Then that would kind of be rough to add the flight on top of that for only 4 days. Plus, we would want to stay in advance because there's no flights that would really line us. We wouldn't want to fly the day up. How about that? And that would just be super, super unfortunate for us. By that time, it'd be like a $3,000 trip, in which $3,000 we can get a week long on the Wonder out here. We can get Icon of the Seas. We can do a lot of things for $3,000, and the 4 nights just wouldn't be worth it. Lord, you're thinking about doing Princess for 2024. I really want to sail on a newer ship. Problem with the new ships is the price. Like, double of what you would pay for an older ship. I actually completely agree with that. Yeah, my suggestion is, if you want to do the Sun Princess, do the Sun Princess for a 5-night when it first comes over, and after it transitions over to the Caribbean. That is going to be the cheapest price you find. It's 5 nights, kind of sucks, but, you know, it kind of is worth it. And yeah, I hear you. The flights, hotel, adds up real fast. That's the same reason why I don't want to do the Wish at the moment. Treasure, 7 nights. Yeah, it's more money than I want to spend, but at the very least, it's 7 nights. Kind of makes it worth it, you know? Couple of the Seas, that's $3,000 total. If you are interested, I'm going to go off topic. I'm going to talk about travel agent stuff for a moment. If you wanted, it's kind of sold out at the moment. We don't have very many. But on my website, there are... this is not my website. That's the book page. On the homepage of my website, you scroll down. We have some specials on Icon of the Seas. And skip through all that information. Boom. Some of these are selling out quite fast. This is all because we have travel agency group rates. That's how I actually was able to afford Icon of the Seas, because I would not be able to pay that right now. So this is actually what the price was on release. Essentially what happened was when we had the initial release of Icon of the Seas, our agency held up X amount of cabins for Icon sailings, just a select number of them, not every single sailing for sure. And these are the sailings here, and this is what's kind of available. It might even be less. This doesn't update except for once every couple weeks, so it's kind of less on some of it. But if you're interested in any of these sailings, you're interested in getting Icon at a more reasonable price, this is how you do it. Didn't mean to talk about that. Was really just trying to talk about picking a cruise. So that's how we got it. That's how we cheated. We used a travel agency group rate. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to use a travel agent. We're here to do it ourselves. So sorry to kind of cheat there a little bit. But anyways, answering more questions. Did you hear the port in Fort Lauderdale for Disney? Yeah, I did hear that they're building a port. Kind of excited for it. It's supposed to open as soon as the Dream returns, I think. That's exciting. Fort Lauderdale is a port that I haven't been to yet, so one day I'll have to go. Also, Jalen, good morning. She's not with me right now, but she's in chat. Makes me happy. You've sent a text message already. I don't know where you... I'm looking out for it. I haven't gotten it yet. I'm just kidding. We'll talk later. Talk later. If you're really interested in doing Icon, we'll talk later. I wish I would say that go on our sailing, but our ocean views are sold out, so you'd have to do a balcony for more money, which maybe the balcony's worth it. Anywho, seriously, if anyone out there is looking at doing a cruise that is not Icon, throw it out there. I really want to actually kind of go through and start talking about kind of picking cruises or destinations and kind of going through that thought process. If you did a cruise line, it'd be a little too specific, but like if there's a location that anyone's thinking about, like a couple of seas, is there anywhere you're looking other than Icon that you want to go to? I mean, I know that you're probably looking at Royal Caribbean or Carnival, but we look at other options too. I mean, it's always good to expand. You tried Carnival. Have you tried other cruise lines like MSC or, I don't know, Norwegian? Or possibly, what else is out there? Princess? I don't know. Just thoughts. But for now, I think I'm going to look at Alaska, because why not? We're look at Alaska for 2024 and see what is out there. We were looking at the Caribbean. Let's just look at Alaska because that's my favorite destination, and it's kind of what we're actually doing. Australia. Oh, screw that. Let's do Australia instead. I don't know anything about Australia, by the way. I only really book cruises in North America, but Australia would be a really fun one to do. We got to clear all the filters though. Let's go through and select Australia. Do I still have something selected? We might have to restart this. Let's start over again. What is, beside Disney, the most family-friendly cruise? I would have to say Royal Caribbean, in my opinion, is probably the most family-friendly cruise. It's a pretty good option. It does have pretty good kids programs that I like. I haven't experienced them myself, unfortunately, but I have seen other family members and other youngins that have experienced that one, and they love the program. They have a lot of fun in it. But Carnival is actually, as though you think of it as the party cruise, they actually have a pretty decent kids program on board as well, and they have the Dr. Seuss things, which Dr. Seuss, I don't know. To be honest, I have no idea if kids even like Dr. Seuss anymore, but I do. So let's try Australia and New Zealand. Also, other thoughts, we got Japan or Europe. I could talk about Japan. Europe, it's also a fun one too. Anyways, Australia and New Zealand. This one's something that I'm not really too familiar with. Let's pick October of next year, because I think that's when the Australia season really kicks off, after Alaska. Usually, all the Alaska cruises in the summer, after they finish their season, because they can't stay there year-round, they will leave and go to Australia or other parts of the Caribbean, but Australia usually for some of the bigger ships that can't cross through the canals. So that's what we're going to look at. Jeez, that is so expensive for oh, I guess that's a 15-night cruise. That's not bad. $5,000 for 2 people for 15 nights? Fair Insight. Tell me, that's typical. Okay. It was at one point $1,829. Man, we should have been here 31 days ago. Man, that kind of makes me sad. But yeah, Fair Insight's really nice. Fair Insight right here. Gives you the price history. I love that part of it. Anyways, where would we even go? Singapore or Australia to Singapore. I like that. The only thing that I don't like is that it doesn't give you times on the itineraries. So if you wanted to know how long you're staying somewhere, yeah, you're not going to know. But it gives you a good idea of where you're going. Start in Sydney, you go to Brisbane, go to Arley Beach, go to Cairns, I don't know. Darwin is an easy one. Bali, that is not Australia. And it's in Singapore. That's really cool. Queen Elizabeth, that is an expensive cruise line. Celebrity Edge would be a really cool cruise line to do Australia in, but that is also one of the more expensive ones, and on the more expensive cruise ship that they have, because the Edge class is just expensive. Crown Princess. That's actually a pretty great price. $638 a person. Oh, also, the one thing, if you haven't noticed, it says it $80 a night. I like that. It gives you the breakdown. Per person, that is. Diamond Princess doing New Zealand. $128 a night. That's a little expensive, but 19 nights going to all these places, you even cut through the land. That's amazing. Some of the maps don't work very well. Good night. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it, Sri. I thank you for joining. It was fun to have some of your questions, and also I'm looking forward to your treasure sailing more than I'm looking forward to mine. Would I ever go on inspection of seas from Singapore? One day I would like to, Charmaine, but I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon. This is really awesome. I'm going to use this site myself. Good. I'm glad to hear it. This is what it's here for. Hopefully you learn something. Hopefully I could sell you on this, which is not a product. It's just a really cool free tool to use to help book your cruises. Like, seriously, if I were realistically going to Australia, I wouldn't do the 19-night ones. So let's filter out. We're going to get a little bit more serious. I was looking at, we'll probably do 3 or 5 or 6 and 9. That'd be a more realistic cruise range that we would do. And then we would get more affordable things, because some of those were like 15 and whatever. Way too expensive. So, any LA to Australia? We'll look at that in just a moment. I don't think I know of any actually off the top of my head other than the World Cruises, because we don't quite do LA to Australia. It doesn't happen very often. The transition would happen from Seattle onwards. Just insight from me. But we could look. We'll take a look for sure. It might end up being a world cruise, but be one heck of a cruise. It'd be easier to do LA to Asia, I think would be more possible. But I'm not too sure about that. We'll have to look. Royal Princess. Auckland to Sydney. That's a cool one, but 3 days at sea with only one port's kind of lame. The Disney Wonder, which, look at that. A reasonable price to do the Disney Wonder for 3 nights. If that's how much it costs here in California or here in Florida, I would do it more often. But also, 2 days at sea. Why? Wait a second. You don't even go anywhere. You hop on the ship and you go to sea for 2 days? I mean, I love the Disney Wonder, but why? Why would you do that? 4 night for a lot more money. I want to at least go somewhere. Goes to Eden and Melbourne. Ends in Melbourne. 6 nights. Okay. So I'm learning something with you guys, that a lot of Australian cruises do not start and stop in the same place. They like to cut through land sometimes. There really isn't as many Australia sailings as I thought there would have been. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I really am not too familiar, but let's try this. Let's see. Get rid of October. We're going to look and see if we can find... No, I don't see it as a departure port. There's no LA as a departure port. That is unfortunate. That'd be really cool. Oh, duh. I have the 3... Sorry. Excuse my my silliness. Sensitive cruise to Catalina. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Except you don't even go to Catalina. You just don't go anywhere. But you guys got off in Catalina, didn't you? I'm sorry, you did, right? So at least you can get off and go look at something you've already seen before, whereas you're just seeing the ocean the entire time. All right. Now we have the filters off to hopefully find a really long cruise that gets us from LA. No, it doesn't happen. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Yeah, Singapore is the furthest port you can go to. LA to Australia doesn't happen. You'd have to probably do something realistically. You'd have to do Vancouver. Vancouver to Australia would probably be an option, but I don't even see that here. About an hour. What? It's better than nothing. Just saying. I mean, that's all you really need in Catalina if you just walk the downtown area. An hour. But anywho. So Australia has been enlightening. Don't think I want to do an Australia cruise anytime soon with some of these itineraries and how expensive they are. I mean, I do want to do Australia one day. Like, that's one of Jalen's dreams, is to do Australia, but Not at these. Not at these options, at least. Think you saw some cruises from San Francisco to Australia / New Zealand. Fortunately, it's not on this website, and it might just be the fact that these are not very popular itineraries, so they don't share all of them. Like, I'm almost 100% sure that we should be seeing Luminosa. Do I still have the month? Let me see. Do we get anything better here? Oh, we get more options for sure, because I'm now out of October. That might have been the problem. Yeah, that was my fault. That was the filter problem. You got to make sure what filters you have on, because you could just be silly and have something that's really limiting you. Let's try again. There it is. That's expensive, but it exists. Who's it with? Yeah, that makes sense. Oceania. Okay, there you go. I found it for you. Whatever you were going to pay for Icon of the Seas, boom, couple. I got you. There it is. That's your dream itinerary. You start in Los Angeles and you end in Auckland. It's not even Australia. You get to go to Hawaii on the way. You go to Tahiti and Bora Bora and Samoa and other places. That is 30 days on a ship with like 5 days at sea to begin with. I don't know what you would do on that ship, but I imagine to be pretty fancy. Pretty fancy. So, a 14 night for 1,000 a person isn't all that bad. Just about getting to Australia. Yeah, that's the problem. Carnival used to have some really great rates too for some of their things. Like on the Luminosa was last year, it was so cheap. So cheap. Definitely was the date. Thank you for catching that. I see you as RG number 4567. You are the best YouTuber ever. I was on the Carnival Radiance when you were on in 2021. Thank you, by the way. That's so kind of you. But you were on the Radiance in 2021. Did we meet? I think I recall possibly like the only person or the only one that I met, or the only few that I met on board. So that would be extremely crazy if you were that person I'm thinking of. But if not, still okay. But that was a long time ago. Have you done any cruises since? 30 nights is crazy. You need to come back to LA? Well, one way is a lot cheaper than round trip, at least. You know, I'm just saying. Jalen, I know that's the one you want to do. Sorry. I don't think that's going to be our first step into Oceanic cruises. Sheep. $7,000 a person. Let me think real quick. If we cancel the treasure, if we cancel our Alaska plans, if we cancel Icon of the Seas, we might be able to swing it. Well, at that point, we're already there. You might as well just do a bunch of like 3 or 4 nights or 6 nights or 7 nights while there. But jeez. Yeah. Let's get off of this one before Jalen gets more ideas. Los Angeles, is there anything else? New York. Just Los Angeles. They're not showing that San Francisco one. And what it might be is that the Princess itinerary that you were thinking about earlier could just be, it might be split up into 2. Like it could be a San Francisco, no, it wouldn't be a San Francisco to Hawaii. I don't know. Not sure why it's not popping up here. Yeah, let's see. Is there any other California options, or is it just that? Yeah, it's just that on this website. Okay. I was just curious. Yeah. Gotta leave it for the bait. Yeah, before it becomes real. It might become real. That's why we're hiding at the moment. You've done 2 cruises, both on the Radiance, one in February 2022 and of June of 2022. Awesome. Really sticking to the Radiance. I like the Radiance. But, we've done it twice, too. I did it once after. Haven't done it a second time, though. Not going to do it a second time. The Radiance is great. Love Big Chicken. I want to try other things. Like, I really want to do Panorama is actually the next thing I want to step up to, but I'm not sure when that's going to happen or if it's going to happen. Okay. California, not an option. But I wonder if we did Pacific Crossings as an option. Maybe that could be fun. Like, let's try... Wait a second, hold on. Let me try something really quickly. Let's keep it there. But I didn't see if there was a launch out of Hawaii. I'm sorry. I'm feeding my own curiosity as well with this. Did they have Hawaii here? No, they didn't have Hawaii. Unfortunate. I'm amazed that I don't see Vancouver here either. That's a pretty popular one. Anywho. Just curious. How does the London one work? Oh, this is the same price as the Oceania one. Oh, it goes the opposite way around. Good. You start in Southampton. Okay. That makes sense. You go around Cape Horn? Cape Town? Geography failing me right now. The Radiance felt cramped to you? It's because they added more balconies and cabins where they shouldn't have. Essentially, when that ship was the Victory, and they changed it from the Victory to the Radiance, they added more cabins on board to add capacity. So, like, the passenger-space ratio got really thrown off on that ship. But I can't complain about it too much because Royal Caribbean's done that to a lot of their ships as well. Like Navigator, though I love Navigator a lot. When they added cabins to that class of ship, it became worse. So that's kind of why Radiance feels cramped. Try Miracle. Try the Carnival Miracle while it's still here. That's a good option. If not the Miracle, I wouldn't say stepping up to Panorama or Frenzy is going to be any better, though, because I've heard the ratio on that's pretty rough, too. But, yeah, it's kind of how it is. You got to go on some of the older ships with Carnival. They're just a lot better than some of the newer ones, like, or refurbished ones, especially if they've done that, where they've added more cabins. Yeah, so let's not even talk about this one. What's some of the other destinations? Japan. I like Japan. Japan's a fun one. Oh, we're looking at departure port. Let's see. Destinations. Let's start this over again. Let's go to Japan. If it's here. Oh, I could just search it. Silly me. No results! This might be another one of those things where I just have to start over again. Because I swear Japan is an option. It is. Let's find. You know, I wonder what happens to the food that the people don't eat in the buffets or restaurant. Like the leftovers. So, few things to that. I do kind of have somewhat of an answer, but you really have to start talking about waste disposal. So different cruise lines have different processes, but they pretty much, it just goes to waste. It gets thrown away. Some of it they try to recycle it in a way to like use it for fertilizer and stuff like that, but I'm not too familiar with that whole thing. They try to reuse it in some way, but yeah, it kind of just goes to waste. Thankfully, a lot of cruise lines that are not Disney, they allow their crew to go up to the buffets for dinner, so that way you could kind of hopefully get some of the waste down, so they can go eat in the buffet. For restaurants, yeah, it just gets wasted. But the thing is that a lot of ships or a lot of cruise lines, they've been doing it for so long that they can predict with a reasonable degree on how much food they're going to need, and they try to nail it as close as possible. so they don't have too much waste. Because obviously, cruise line doesn't want to waste money, right? They don't want to spend money on food that no one's going to eat. They'd rather have you eat it, because at least then it's worth it. They don't want to waste anything. They try not to, so yeah, it gets wasted in the end. But at the beginning, it's just a lot of prediction, trying to make sure that there's not that many leftovers. But at the end of the day, finish your food or don't finish your food, because whether or not you were going to eat it, it is going to get wasted in a sense. Like it's either going to get eaten or it's not going to get eaten. Like it was already spent, if that case. It was already accounted for in that sense, if that makes any sense at all. Like, that's kind of my understanding of it. Anyways, Asia cruises. Like, go to Japan. Ooh. A 9-night for $699 a person, so $1,600. Anthony J. Porras, rather waste my food. You're still alive? Wasting food is poggers. Get out of here. Aren't you in Korea? Go back to your Korea thing. By the way, if you ever, don't ever feel the obligation to, but if you look back, way back on this channel's history, Anthony J. Porras, or AP for short, because he's short, used to be on the channel all the time. And used to vlog with me. He's actually the whole reason why I vlog, and I'm able to do it. So if you hate me, blame that guy. I miss you. I miss you, AP. Not in Korea. Where are you? Actually, I have your location. I could track you down. But anyways, SF to Auckland for 23 days on September 24th. Next year's cheapest is $4,486 in total with gratuity stops in Hawaii and Tahiti. There you go. Actually, shout out to this site for not having it. So, this chat's going so fast. Guys, slow down. I can only read so fast. Oh yeah, that was the one I just read. Back in Philly right now. Stephen Pong is a better vlogger than me. Miss you too, brother. Seriously miss you. Also, hi Dad. How you doing? All the homies have my location. Yeah, that's true. I can track you down. I just kind of saw your whatever most recent social media post, however long ago. I don't hop on social media that often. And saw you're in Korea and just figured you were still there. Well, you should go back to Korea. It's a pretty cool place. I want to go there one day. Celebrity Millennium for Japan. Don't waste food. It's not a good idea, by the way. Responding to what Anthony was saying. Gosh, all distracted. Seriously, how are you doing, Anthony? Are you doing good, man? Are you gonna ever go on a cruise with me? Then we could really put who's the better vlogger to test. We could do this Japan one. Or this Japan one. Wow. 10 grand and you can go to all these places. Still a cruise in Korea? It's possible. You could probably do one that visits a Korea. It'd have to be Busan though, because I think that's like the only port that you can go to. There! Found it. It goes to Korea for one day. This is our cruise. $4,000 though. That is expensive. See, here are some of the Trans-Pacific ones. You know, it's funny because my girlfriend works for a waste company for cruises. And she's mentioned some of the ones that I've been on. Interesting. What does she do specifically? Like, what does she... You're in Philly, right? There's no cruises in Philadelphia. Because I don't think there is. Some of these cruises are expensive. Regent Spirit. There! This is the cruise, AJ. We're gonna do it. Yokohama. We've hit Japan up. Might as well invite Treyo on board. We hit up Japan. We go to Okinawa, go to a different island all the way down here, and then we go end in Korea. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be a really cool one. Royal Princess. I'm going to do this cruise next year. Oh, this is what it does before we see Royal Princess. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days at sea? Why go somewhere when you can just spend your whole time at sea? Yeah, so we're just looking at cruises. Should the paperwork for the West Coast cruise... She did the paperwork for the West Coast cruises, but now she does the social media for them instead. You'll do a Japan cruise only if Trejo comes. Yeah. Alright. So I just gotta convince both of you. The trio. Also, gemstones or emojis don't show up on my chat thing. Kinda lame. It's just been fun looking at different cruises. I'm not really sure what our whole point is. We're just looking at random cruises that everyone is suggesting. But that cruise that was mentioned earlier, I'm interested. We're just going to go to the website because it's not showing up on Cruise Critic. The one that goes from San Francisco to Australia. Departure port. Okay. Here you go, San Francisco. Boom. Hawaii crossing aboard the Crown Princess. Yeah, but the unfortunate thing is this one doesn't go to Australia. It just goes to New Zealand. But, I mean, then again, can you really complain? It goes to LA. Why does this go to LA? It goes from San Fran to LA. And then it crosses over to Honolulu, Maui, Tahiti. Man. All dreams that will probably not come true anytime soon. Oh, here's a good question. What cruise line do you recommend for a couple to Alaska in May timeline? I'm assuming May 2024, because 2025 is not quite fully released. I don't know. Let's look at it. Look at May. We're gonna have to start over. I'm sorry. Gotta restart every time we start like a brand new search like that. Alaska in May. We'll take a look at all the options. My recommendation, depending on what you're looking for, off the top of my head, probably Princess would be the one that I suggest. But we'll see what is out there. Kind of depends. Do you want to go out of Vancouver? Do you want to go out of Seattle? That's kind of really important. Do you want to do a one-way from Vancouver to Whittier / Seward? All different questions. There's so many things to look at when it comes to Alaska because there's three different ports. My dad even agrees Princess or Celebrity. I'd have to suggest Celebrity as well, but Princess is my number one pick because of the enrichment programs they have on board. But Celebrity is a good one because it's pretty much the competitor, and they do have enrichments as well where you can learn about Alaska. It's just that I feel like Celebrity's not as strong as Princess is because Princess has like a whole program written out, and they have, well, they both cruise lines will have someone that comes on board, and throughout the entire cruise they will just talk about Alaska, different topics, different things. Very, very knowledgeable, and they can ask some questions and learn about anything you're interested in. So I feel like when you go in Alaska, Alaska's a very learn-heavy destination. Like, you don't learn about, well, you do learn about culture. Like, there's a lot of culture in Alaska. There's a lot of nature, and there's so many things that in our everyday lives that we just don't normally see here in the mainland. So that's why enrichment programs are usually the strongest things. If you want activities, Norwegian or Royal are good options, but they don't have the same programs. In fact, Royal Caribbean does absolutely nothing. They don't do anything on those cruises where they teach you about Alaska, and it's kind of unfortunate. I think that they're really missing out there. But yeah, so like Solstice is a pretty interesting itinerary, I think. Goes out of Vancouver, goes up to a few places. You hit Icy Strait. You go to Hubbard Glacier, which is a beautiful glacier, so I've been told from others. Juneau, Ketchikan, and the Inside Passage back. That's a pretty generic itinerary. Usually you're going to go to itineraries that always have Juneau. I think ads just got inserted. Hey, did anyone get inserted into an ad? Let me know. I hope not. So yeah, that's like the pretty generic one. Is you're gonna go to Juneau. You're probably gonna go to Ketchikan, if not Skagway. Icy Strait is the other popular destination. Those 4 ports are generally what you're gonna look at. Which is better? It's all kind of preference and what you want to do. But I like talking about Alaska because I know so much, and we're having some pretty exciting things too. So the interesting thing about Alaska too is that they do have the round trips from Seattle and Vancouver, but they do some unique things where they go northbound. And what I mean by northbound is it literally goes north the entire cruise almost, and it starts in Vancouver and it ends up northwards into Seward, or Whittier is Princess's ports. But yeah, you'll just go to Alaska and then you'll end up in Alaska. Kind of cool. Or you could do the reverse and you take a southbound down. That's a pretty awesome option as well. I like those options that go north and south, but kind of the only thing bad about it is that they're gonna put you in a really bad position. Like you're gonna start in Vancouver and then you're gonna end in Seward. Round trip flights, kind of expensive. It's expensive to fly in and out of Anchorage, which is the airport for those for that Alaska port. Good morning. Welcome back. How was your bed time? Was it a good rest? Anyways, back to Alaska. So I like the idea of north and southbound. They're usually cheaper, but you're going to be out of position. But if you wanted to stay in Alaska, like you wanted to spend 3 or 4 nights, that's a really good option. May's a good time to look at Alaska too because one, it's cheaper, and usually the weather is a little less rainier than in other months. May and June tend to be the less rainier months, so it's good. You're at the beginning of the season, so not as many wildlife though. That's the big disadvantage. But if you're still likely to see something, but it just kind of all depends. Yeah. But the reason why you'd want to go on Princess over any other cruise line. Well, not any other cruise lines. There's a few other cruise lines that you can go on to. But the reason why I suggest Princess highly over Celebrity is not just the enrichment programs, but it actually goes to Glacier Bay. Which, if you don't know, Glacier Bay is a national park in Alaska. And the only way to get there is by plane or by boat. And even then, by plane is kind of unreliable. So you have to go by ship. And only 2 ships a day are allowed. So if you're on one of the 2 ships that go to Glacier Bay, it's an experience. Because you're not just going to see one glacier. You're going to see multiple glaciers. 3 or 4 probably throughout the day. And it's a full day experience. Whereas if you go to like other glaciers, which is like Hubbard, or if you go to Tracy Arm Fjord, or if you go to Endicott Arm, you're only going to get like an hour, 2-hour experience. 3 hours, but really getting in and out with only maybe 20 minutes seeing a glacier. So that's why I don't like doing those itineraries that go to those ports. If you do a Princess that goes to Glacier Bay, you're golden. Could you still make a snowman in Alaska during your time in May? No, you could not. Unfortunately, it does not snow in May. It rains a lot in May. Well, not a lot, but it rains in May. So meaning no snow. So you could probably do... No, you can't do a snowman. You could do a sandman or a rockman. Oh, you mentioned you wanted to go on Carnival Panorama, and I see a cruise from LA to Tokyo. Stops in Alaska and a couple other... Yeah, I saw that one. That one's insane. I looked at that one. Highly considered it. But I don't know if doing the Panorama in an itinerary that is not realistic to what Panorama ever does, because the reason why it's doing that is it's going to do dry dock. So it's going to dry dock all the way over in Asia, and that's why they're doing that unique itinerary. It would be really fun to do, but it would be really expensive, and It just wouldn't be like the normal itinerary that you would normally get. And that's kind of why I'm probably not going to do it. But it'd be fun. Glad I could help. Thank you so much for watching the videos. Yeah, what are you looking at? You have any plans or thoughts on what you're going to do for Alaska? Or just kind of just getting gauging, trying to figure out what you're going to do? Possibilities are endless, I will say. Yeah, I think that's everything that I have to say about Alaska. Talked about Vancouver to North Alaska and back, north and southbounds. Seattle and Vancouver both do round trips. Princess is probably the best one, especially if you do Glacier Bay. I think that's all I have to share for Alaska. Also, Norwegian does do Glacier Bay as well, but only on one of their ships, the Norwegian Encore. Could be a good option as well if you wanted to go to Glacier Bay, but I don't have much to say about Norwegian. I'll talk more about Norwegian next year, possibly. So yeah, I'm excited because what we're doing is we're taking up. That's not what I wanted to go to. Oh, that's right. For my Alaska experience next year in May, you can see my end of May, kind of. So doesn't really count. We're taking Radiance of the Seas up, which is going to start in Vancouver. Goes to Juneau, Ice Strait, Sitka, Skagway, Hubbard Glacier, which I told you is a cool glacier, but isn't Glacier Bay, of course. Ends in Seward. Then a day later, we hop on Royal Princess. We take Whittier, go to Hubbard Glacier again, go to Glacier Bay, which is the highlight destination, and then Ice Strait Point, Juneau, Ketchikan, Vancouver. That's what we're doing in Alaska. So I don't necessarily recommend copying us, but could be a good option. We found all those cruises for quite cheap because they're all north and southbounds. In fact, it was kind of more expensive to fly home from Anchorage back to Los Angeles, so we just said, forget it. Why don't we just stay and do another cruise back home? Didn't know that it was going for a dry dock. Probably wouldn't have done it either. Yeah. If it was like a round trip, it'd be more interesting to me. Getting displaced somewhere else, kind of rough. Especially at the end of a cruise. I think I'd rather take the return trip home, which I know is doing a few months later, but it's not as cool of an itinerary. And it's not from Tokyo, it's from somewhere else. But yeah, it's let's go to dry dock. So I'm not sure what they're gonna do. Probably just the touch-ups and stuff like that. I mean, the ship is now what, 5 years old? So yeah, it's due for it. It's due for it next year because it'll be 6 years old by that time. And then yeah, so it'll go to dry dock in Asia. At least I'm pretty sure, unless it got chartered, but I don't think it did. It's kind of hard to track Carnival dry docks, but my assumption is because it goes to Japan and then it disappears for 2 months and then it comes back, does a return trip home. That's my assumption on why it's doing a dry dock, because I'm not for sure, but I'm like 80% sure, unless it's getting bought out by someone to just go to Asia for a while. But I don't think anyone. Why would anyone do that? Why would they sell that ship specifically? So has to be dry dock. But watch me be wrong in a couple months. What is your favorite cruise ship that you've been on and why? Favorite cruise ship all time has to be anything to do with Quantum class. I love Quantum class. It's my favorite class of ship for two reasons. One, it goes to destinations that are kind of exciting. And two, it's kind of built for all weather. So whether it's hot, whether it's cold, Quantum of the Seas is a great cruise line to go on because it has a lot of indoor facilities, a lot of glass to look out into the ocean. Excuse me. Royal Caribbean had kind of done this thing where they hadn't really been building a lot of ships that were built to look out. They've been built to kind of look inwards and kind of built with the inside feeling like, with the inside being like more of a place on land instead of being a cruise ship, and kind of forgetting the whole idea of that you're at sea and that you want to look out at the ocean and your destination. So Quantum of the Seas was built with that in mind, with the idea of looking out into the world. So they have great venues like 270 that has just like 270 degree views of the wake in the back of the ship, which I thought was always really cool. And then it has indoor facilities like the Seaplex, which is like an indoor gymnasium, but you can play bumper cars on that. You can do laser tag in there. You can do roller skating, all just depending on how the cruise line schedules that particular venue. And then when you're in cool destinations, you can do the North Star, which is a kind of like a gondola thing that raises you up. So just all those features kind of make it my favorite of all of the ships that I've been on, just because the ship's built with intention, built with purpose, and it has a lot of things that I love about cruising with. And the restaurants are great too on board. Cafe 270, fantastic place to go to. Sorrento's is whatever. Depending on the ship, it could have El Loco Fresh, which is the Mexican restaurant, which I think is a fantastic restaurant. Some of them have them. Others have fish and chips, which is okay. One has Johnny Rockets, which is, I mean, I love Johnny Rockets. It's actually probably one of my favorite burgers at sea. It's just I don't like to pay for a burger. But all the ships are kind of built different with different venues, so that's the only thing. There's no consistency, so I can't say like every one of them. But if I had to say, Ovation would have to be my favorite at the moment, but Quantum was definitely a really good one. Anthem's also a really great ship as well. I did in the past before I did YouTube. But yeah, all those ships, really like them. But depending on the venue, some of them I have more favorites than others. But that's also because I like going to different destinations as well. Kind of helps. Do I use other sites other than Cruise Critic? Yes, to a certain extent. Let me think. So one thing I'll use is Cruise Mapper. I love the cruise websites. And I use Cruise Mapper for not to search, but because it has schedules of ships. So, when you went on the Crazy Cruise, did you go to Chinese or Japanese restaurant on your cruise? Which Crazy Cruise? Royal Caribbean, not Crazy. Was it the one where we did all 4 in a row? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not sure what you mean. Yeah, I'm not too sure what you mean by the Crazy Cruise. Just, I'll give you some time. I'll use Cruise Mapper. Go back to Charmaine about the question. Cruise Critics. So, what I'll do is I'll just check ports. You know, specifically like, for example, when I planned the cruises where we did the side by side, Cruise Mapper was a good tool that we utilized quite a bit. And what we would do is we would go to look up a port. We'd find their schedule. And this is legitimately how I picked that, because this is not how you should pick cruises, but this is because I really wanted to do the side-by-sides. I literally went to this website, Cruise Mapper, and I use it all the time. And I just went like, okay, so let's say hypothetically, I went on Freedom of the Seas. Okay, so Freedom of the Seas on October 2nd. That's a Monday. So what other ships are on port on the same day? Like these ships. So Sunshine, Conquest. Okay, interesting. So we'll hop on, we'll hop on Freedom of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. Then we come back on the Friday. Then like, okay, well, let's do Carnival Conquest. And then we did that. And then we come back on Monday. And dead end there. But that's kind of the path that we went to. And we took a little bit of time in that January where we kind of just played around with a lot of the itineraries and went back and forth. But a lot harder in this time of the year, I guess. Let's try January just to see what it would be. It's Independence. So one thing we did consider is when we were doing Icon, we were looking, okay, what are the options since flights are so expensive to get over to Florida? Like, what are our options if we stayed? And this is the thing. This is how we extend our extend our cruise lines or our cruise trips. Is when we know that we want to go somewhere, or we already have one cruise that we've mapped out. Then we look at the itineraries and schedules of the different ships. Like, okay, well, what is any ship doing? So I guess a good example would have been here is we would have hopped on Freedom. I'm not sure. I'm trying to map this out is really difficult. I spent hours trying to plan this, where we did the side by side. But here's actually a pretty good significant day where a lot of ships are in port. So you could find a lot of different maneuverability where you can go before the previous itinerary, you go to the post itinerary, whatever, and just kind of play around with it. But that's what we use. And the thing that I like about it too is if I click the ship, I can find all itineraries from them, and it also gives me the prices too. So if I really want to do a specific ship, this is how I'll find it, right? Cruise Critic is a good idea if you don't know what you want to do and you're just kind of looking at a general census of what's out there. You can get a good idea of like what's realistic. Like say if you didn't know anything, Cruise Critic is going to be the option that you choose to pick ideas, right? So if you wanted to go to Alaska but you really know what's out there, you pick Alaska and you get a realistic idea like, okay, well, Seattle, Vancouver, Seward, those are the ports that you're probably going to go out of. Like that's what's out there. Because some people go into booking cruises without knowing, like, oh, I want to go to Alaska, but I want to go to Los Angeles. Well, it does exist, but there's not really many options. Like the distance between Los Angeles and Alaska, a lot greater than you would think, right? It's actually like a good 4-day trek from here up, and only select cruise lines like Princess and Carnival do it, and they only do one of them a year. But like that's just an example. Like if you didn't know, and you wouldn't know, Cruise Critic will kind of set the realistic expectation of what itineraries are out there. You know, give you an idea of what's obtainable within a cruise. That's what I like it for. But if you know what you want to do, Cruise Mapper is the next best thing, because you could just look at every single itinerary from a ship. Like if you want to do a specific ship, like you really want to do, I don't know, let's say, what's a good ship? Anyone have any ideas for ships? Royal Caribbean Cruise that used to do Asia Cruise in the restaurant that Jenna wanted to have. Oh, we talked about that in day 2. That's Quantum of the Seas you're referring to. That was Alaska. Not too crazy, but we did not. We ended up not going there because the restaurant was not its full restaurant. It was a Lies, essentially. In Asia, it's a full Chinese restaurant in Asia cuisine, but in Alaska, they cut it. It's kind of lame, to be honest. It was disappointing. We talked about that in day 2. And yeah, we were just very disappointed with that. We may not have talked about it enough, but I have my complaints about that. Anyways. Yeah, any ship ideas we could look at? Let's look at the Mardi Gras for now, as hopefully someone will answer my question. But yeah, so we'll see that Mardi Gras does Eastern, Western constantly, and it gives you the prices per person, that is. It also shows you the itineraries as well too. So if you want to know where you're going, good idea. But say like you're looking for a good cruise you want to do on Mardi Gras, you just kind of go through and go, well, here are the prices. $709 seems to be the cheapest on January 3rd, so we'll click that. Like, okay, cool. We're going out of Port Canaveral, right? And we're just going to Nassau, Puerto Plata, and Grand Turk. That's kind of a lame itinerary, to be honest, but it's what it does. Though I do know Carnival is going to be adding Celebration Key to their list next year. Actually, no, in 2025. So Nassau will hopefully eventually be replaced on these itineraries, because that's kind of lame. But yeah. Here's another great example of this ship is going to dry dock. Oh no, this was not. This was just doing... Yeah, it is. Sorry. It is doing a dry dock, right? So it would have to. It goes 14 days one way from Port Canaveral to Barcelona, which is a cool transatlantic crossing that you would never normally get to do on that ship. And then you get to do the 14-day back. Oh, and it goes to Celebration Key. That's in 2025. Yeah. So I assume that 1 month, that's a dry dock. That's usually what that would be. It's only $799. Excuse me. Let's take the return back. Want to do Discovery Princess? We'll look at that in just a moment. Did Discovery Princess. Love Discovery. Good ship. Anyways, give me a moment. Crap. I'm just curious. My own curiosity. If it's really that cheap. By the way, Carnival Luminosa, $184 per person. So cheap. So cheap. I want a transatlantic crossing. Looking. I'm gonna do the Mardi Gras. No, what do you mean? I know it exists. I know that they're doing it. This website sometimes is frustrating. Transatlantic. Okay, well, I know it's September and October. Here it is. I did an inside cabin. I'd actually personally want to do with the return. Let's see. For $2,000, you can do a transatlantic cruise. Interesting. Guys, this is what I do for fun. I just look at cruises. I'm basically just live streaming my pastime. We'll talk more on that later. Jalen, if you're in stream, I found one. She might not be here. She might have gotten bored looking at cruises, but seriously, I would do this in a heartbeat. $2,000 for 2 people is... I'm paying $3,000 for a week long on Icon. I can get 14 days on the Mardi Gras. Except Barcelona, probably expensive to fly to. Heck, in 2025, maybe I'll just move to Florida. It'll just be a one-way flight. Anyways, sorry. Didn't mean to distract. Discovery Princess. Oh, Anthony, you want to do it? So what, 2,000? Split it. Makes it 1,000. Split it with Tree. I'm sure he'd love to do Europe. I'm sure he's actually already been to Europe. Actually, I'm sure both of you have. Have you guys both been to Spain? Anyways, Discovery Princess. Jalen, you're here. Sorry, I'm trying to get to Discovery Princess. You are here. Did you see what I was just talking about? I think it's worth it. I think we could. 2025. That's a lot of time to think about that. That's a lot of time to think about that one. $2,000. I think that's. Just found my next cruise, guys. Anyways, Discovery Princess. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Did you go to Spain, though? Did you go to Barcelona? I know you were in Germany. But is that the same? It's not the same. I forgot that you live in Germany for a second. Okay, we don't talk enough for me to remember everything about your life. But I do remember that. I did remember. Yeah, that's kind of stupid on me. I'll be honest. Anyways, Discovery Princess. Let's look at it. So we'll look at Princess Cruises. Itineraries. Oh, look at that. Hanging out in the Mexican Riviera. Love it. Then it goes up to Seattle. It's a 7-day one-way. It takes 7 days. Oh, I see. This is the 7-day one-way that I was clicking. If... in Spain for 2 days. You'll be our expert. Also, Jalen's down to do it. Seriously, we might actually do this. Let's get everyone to go. 2025. That's enough time to plan. Just who knows where the heck everyone will be at that time. Discovery Princess. I'll look at the one-way from Los Angeles to Vancouver later. So one thing that's really exciting about Discovery Princess next year is that it's going to Glacier Bay National Park. And that is cool in itself. So if you were listening to my advice and you wanted to go to Glacier Bay, this is the cruise ship to do it on. So kind of give you a good idea. It's gonna be, the map isn't as cool as the other one, but goes to Juneau, Skagway, Glacier Bay, comes back to Ketchikan, and then arrives back in Seattle. Round trip, goes to Glacier Bay. That's the most highlighting thing of them all. And Juneau's pretty cool too, but just about every cruise itinerary to Alaska goes to Juneau.
$748 starting per person. And it kind of hangs around that price for the first 2 weeks. And then the third week gets a little bit more money. But if you really wanted to, if you're looking to save money, hop out of Vancouver. Go one way from Vancouver to Seattle. Because the reason why they do that is because they have to... They can't transition from Los Angeles to Seattle direct, so they have to go to Vancouver in between. So do the Vancouver to Seattle if you really wanted a cheap cruise. I think I suggested that to one of my clients earlier before, and I think they ended up doing it. So that's an itinerary. That'd be a pretty cool one. But yeah, you can see it. It just stays in Alaska, pretty much doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing all the way throughout the season with not much variation. So consistency for Discovery Princess, and then it ends in September. And it does the reverse, Seattle to Vancouver, and then one way's back here, which kind of is interesting. If we didn't already do the Discovery Princess, I kind of would want to do that one way. Yeah, it doesn't line up. Anyways, so Discovery Princess. Going back to Carnival Mardi Gras Transatlantic, it is in October 16th, 2025 to the 30th. So yeah, we'll hop on board in Barcelona. We'll have a fun day at sea. We'll go to whatever that place is. We'll go to Cadiz. Pretty sure that's Spain still. Then it goes to Santa Cruz de Tenerife. Words. And then 7 to 13 is Fun Days at Sea, and we get to go to Celebration Key, which is the brand new private island that Carnival will have. $2,000 for an inside. Only $400 deposit. And the rest, so basically you pay $400 now, and you only owe $1.50 for the rest of it. This is a guarantee, by the way. So if you wanted to pick. Also, you have to pay like $500 in gratuities, so that's... Anyways, yeah. Where is Discovery Princess? In San Diego right now. With the Disney Magic. Is today Thursday? Oh wow, today's Thursday. I actually had thoughts. We had thoughts about going to San Diego just to see the Disney Magic in port. But the Discovery Princess there too would have been really cool. Gosh, I'm kind of so sad we're not there today. But I'm happy to be here with you guys on stream. Anyways, did you gamble in the casino on Carnival? I probably gambled less than $100, and I see offers for $500 onboard credit. No, I didn't, but I'm gonna have to. I have actually seen really good offers from Carnival regarding their casino offers. I need to do that. I need to go spend $100 on my next Carnival cruise. On the Frenzy, we're doing that. I wish, but I don't know. Gambling. I love gambling. I'd be addicted. If I actually went to go gamble, I would just sit there for hours. But let's not talk about my addictions. Good to know that you get pretty good onboard credit. Is that onboard credit for the Transatlantic? You gonna do it? I really think I should do that ship. Learn something new. It's actually seriously accidentally planned my next cruise. We're going next week. Yeah, let's just really quickly book a cruise on Carnival. Gamble $200 and see what we get. You're surprised? Of course I gamble. Used to get free offers from Vegas because I gambled enough. That's how when I hung out with you in Vegas that one time, we were there for free because of gambling. Seth, saw your live streaming about picking cruises.
This is a great filter. Cruise Plum is a great for all the filters. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at it. Sorry, I really hung up on that word for on that sentence for a second. Sorry. I'll have to check that out when I get a chance. Maybe even now. But yes, next time you're back here, Anthony, we'll have to gamble. Brianna, good morning. Host a group slot pool. Use your card and get all the points. I tried that on Royal, on Navigator, on the family cruise with Jalen. We ended up going and we tried to gamble. All of us were gambling, and I tried to use my card on all of them. We didn't gamble enough, unfortunately, that night. It was just bad luck. We were all kind of getting crushed. So, but didn't get any offers anyways, so I'll have to try it on Carnival to see. That's a pretty good idea. Adrian, thank you for joining for a quick moment. Just popped in to say hi. Running out the door to watch FNAF. Have a great stream. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good one, brother. I don't know what FNAF is, I'll be honest, but I'm sure it's some horror thing that you're doing. Have fun. Jealous I'm not there. So I'm gonna just try pulling up Cruise Plum on another tab real quick and just see. Just to make sure that it's not anything too crazy. Oh, interesting. So, here we have it. This could be an interesting site to try. We'll explore it right now, seriously. Group by cruise line. That's some pretty interesting filters. This actually might be my new place. Horror video game like you are a night security guard in Chuck E. Cheese. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. FNAF. Is that a movie then? Dude, if it's not cruising, I don't know about it. Sorry. I do know about FNAF because that was really popular like how many years ago, right? Is it still popular? Do people still play that game? Thank you, Seth and Lord. I don't know stuff. You'll find me pretty unworthy of anything else when it comes to not cruising. This is actually probably going to be my new favorite website. I just learned something completely new. Thank you for the share. I actually really appreciate it. I only use Cruise Critic because that was just kind of what I learned many eons ago, but this might be it because it actually shows you what prices are good. Yeah, it's a new movie and has its following. Guess that makes sense. What else can we do? Doesn't have like everywhere though. Does it have Alaska? Or is it like deals for... Sorry, I'm learning on the job right now. East Coast, Gulf Coast, South Florida. Does it have Alaska? Can we look at Alaska with this? Or is that Pacific Northwest? Yes, that is. Round trip. Okay, it shows you round trip too. Top right. Help. There should be a general search. I just wasted like 2 hours of my life just talking about something that is not even... Residency US. New favorite website. Thank you for the lesson. Yeah, honestly, I didn't know about it. I really haven't spent time on looking. I knew that there's probably something better, but
Man, thank you for sharing. Seriously. Where did I pick? Oh yeah, here are all the filters now. 25. A lot of cruises in 2025. Why am I looking at March of 2025? I have no idea. Just because came to mind. Is there like a update button here? Anyways, I will still say the reason why I like Cruise Critic is still because of the map. Map is my favorite thing. I like seeing a visual. But this is... For tracking prices, this might be a good one. Actually, this is a great one. Thank you for sharing. Seriously, I don't even really know what to say. Other than that this is going to be my obsession for like the next... I don't know, 5 days. I'm just going to be diving through all these. Click on more info on the right, you can see the price history map. Ooh, wow. And you could track with this website too, huh? I'm liking it. I'm liking it indeed. What the heck are we looking at? Singapore? Ends in Athens. Holy, 49-day cruise. Has a map? Yeah, but like this, is this the map you're talking about? I'll probably still end up using both just because I like the visual aspect of Cruise Critic, but this is definitely going to be probably far superior to what you want to look at. Okay, but let's change this to January. Actually, no. Let's change this to September. I don't know. I'm just can't do other just random things. I don't want these ridiculous long cruises because I can't really quite do them. And then embark port. Actually, let's just go region Caribbean. We'll do both. Interesting. Yeah, that was a crazy cruise. I just happened to be selected on that. Price per day, $340. Yeesh. But I like that. Price per day. And it's not per person, it's total. Well, I mean, it has both. How do I... Can I set the sort on this? Like, can it sort better than... Can I get this to sort this way? I can. There we go. Seriously? Why have I not known about this website forever? So September 8th out of Miami is like the best price per day. For a studio lower. For $15.02 for an inside. $16.62 for ocean view. Interesting. Love this, actually. This is great breakdowns. And it has you, if you want to consider alternate dates with this, that's cool. Price tracking is great. But yeah. This map... Yeah, I mean, like, it's cool because it shows you 1, 2, 3. I just like the drawing of the map. The reason why I like Disney Cruise Line so much is because if you ever go on their website and you click on one of their itineraries, it draws the map. Like, I like the visual aspects of things, but this black and white one with no lines. At least it can't draw lines through the middle of the ocean, or middle of the country, I suppose. If you log in and save your search when you come back, later it will say how much the cruise price has changed. Yeah. Price tracking. That is phenomenal. I like that. It even tells you if it has pickleball. Carnival. What are we looking at? Magic? Gotta pick up, man. Gotta pick up. No pickleball? Not worth it. Does Freedom of the Seas have pickleball? I know the answer to that, but I wonder if it does. No roller coaster though. No sky bike. Go kart or bumper cars. It has the things that literally only Carnival and Royal Caribbean would have, but it doesn't actually have. The only thing it would be missing is the oh yeah, go kart / bumper cars. I meant that's laser tag. Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. See you real soon. It was fun to have you in chat. Thank you for chatting with me throughout these couple hours. Brian, Cruise Film looks pretty awesome. I like that you can start your search with how many people you have in your party. Thanks for doing the live stream. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad that we learned something together, because I did not know about this before. See, we came just because I was sharing knowledge, and I learned. I love when that happens. It's so exciting. Seriously, I could spend hours on this. We're going to have to probably wrap this up pretty soon. So, a lot of people are checking out anyways. So, we'll probably give it like another 5-10 minutes-ish. Spotify. Wait a second. Let me just check where we're at in the playlist. Okay. Seriously. Seth, you just gave me something I'm going to spend hours upon hours looking at. Jan's going to be mad at how much time I'm wasting on this. So Freedom of the Seas in Fort Lauderdale? I don't think I was aware of that switch. Interesting indeed. Like a wonder way down here. What is like the most expensive it gets to? Ha! Of course. Icon. Wonder. Wait a second. Price per day? Oh, that's for Star Class. I don't accept that, but I accept that. $765 a day. Man, Icon, you're beating Disney. That is phenomenal. Where do I want to go? Where does anyone want to go? Where did I want to go? Well, because I'm curious. This thing has all of Alaska's itineraries for September. Price per day cheapest is $224. Interesting. Good to know. I think I might do another stream in like a week or two and just spend time searching through cruises.
seriously, if I knew this was a thing. I mean, I've done pretty good on my own, I think, but this thing is going to make things so much easier. So much more exciting, too. Let me just change the date really quick, because I'm kind of curious to see where it thinks that, where's the date? Up here. Calendar. We're going in May, June-ish. Anchorage to Vancouver on Vancouver round trip. Those are the cheapest Alaska cruises that you could do in May. This one goes to Glacier Bay still. This one also goes to Glacier Bay. Noticing a trend. It seems like Glacier Bay, or sorry, Glacier Bay. It seems like Anchorage to Vancouver is the cheaper option. I wonder why. Oh, man. This is so cool. Celebrity Summit might have been a good option for us, but I didn't really want to do the Summit again. I wonder where our ship is going to land up. These are some pretty reasonable prices for the, what's it called? Holland America. Holland can be pretty expensive, so to see them this low on the list is kind of cool. This is almost the itinerary that we're doing. Okay, I'm in the sweet category. I went too far. Oh my god, there's 49 pages. If you go to filters like ports of call, I figured that there would be something like that. You look at every North America, Alaska. Let's look at every cruise that goes to Glacier Bay. 353 of them. Does that math make sense? Only 2 a day. How many feet? Is there 170 something days of Alaska? Yeah, sure. That sounds about right. Oh man, the filters are the best. Skip these ports? Lines and cabins. Okay. Cabins only. So I would select inside. Select the vessel. Vessel build year? Why? That is so fantastic. I want a ship that's 21 years or older. Shout out to the Grand Princess for still being around, by the way. Not very many of them in Alaska, though. The Zadam. That is cool. Capacity, that's a good one to have. I don't mean that. I'm trying to close that. Amenities. You gotta log in. So class, gotta log in for that one as well. Guys, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Alright, I'm gonna spend like the next hour probably doing this. Just messing around with it. I say next hour, but realistically the rest of my day. This is what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to break for dinner, and then I'm going to do this just endlessly. So thank you so much for enlightening me. I appreciate you. I think this is why I like doing streams, because I always learn something pretty cool, and this is... Anywho, if there's any last-minute questions anyone has about anything, doesn't have to be cruise-related. Has to be cruise-related. Let's keep it cruise-related. But any questions about anything, doesn't have to be about booking a cruise or planning a cruise vacation, but just if you have any questions, seriously, go for it, ask. This is your last minute chance to ask anything. I think we're going to be wrapping up the stream here in just a moment, but this is what we ended up deciding. I think we're doing this for sure.
Thank you, AJ. I appreciate it. Seriously, we gotta talk. How realistically can we do this 14-day transatlantic? When will the Disney vlogs be coming back? When will you be coming back? How about that? You come back to California and we go to Disneyland, I'll vlog it. I'll vlog the whole thing. Good morning, Chris. Yes, we're based in California. And thank you so much for watching our videos. I really appreciate it. Yeah, we are based in California. So, actually, I was just talking about that right before. But yeah, everything that you see from us is usually out of California. And when we don't go out of California, we have to fly. And that's usually where we fly from. Full version me! I forgot to turn on the thing where I actually transition. But you know, it's okay. Who needs dissolves when I could just hard cut to myself? 80% sure that you can do that cruise. Planning a lot of my trips a year in advance. Well, that's like 2 years in advance, so yeah. Let's try and make it happen, because I think I really want to do that. That is such a good price. You could easily pay $2,000 for an inside cabin for 7 nights. So to go from Barcelona to Port Canaveral, I think that'd be fun. And this is like one of Carnival's newer ships. Granted, it's going to get dry docked, so it's not. It's that old, but still, I think it technically counts. It's of the Excel class, and I've heard great things about that. And what a fun way to try out Excel class, but on a transatlantic cruise. So, anyways, I think if no one else has anything else to ask, thank you so much for watching today's stream. Thank you if you've watched all the way to the end. And if you joined us along the way, I appreciate it. It has been a fun stream. We learned a lot. And I think now that I've learned more, I can actually make a video where I go specifically talking about how to use Cruise Plum. Because I don't think I've seen too many videos about it, but maybe there are, and I've just kind of been blindsided to it. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Gotta play the end music. Yes. Feels good. Appreciate every one of you. Hopefully you'll join us on another cruise vacation soon enough. Next one coming up is one from the past. It's going to be Wonder of the Seas. Keep an eye out for that. It'll be coming very soon, probably in the next week or so. And if you haven't already, leave a like on the stream so that way anyone who needs to know this information can see it. It'll help YouTube spread out the video to as many people as possible.